Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today. If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076. And tell them Talk CDL sent you. Drivers, if you're looking for a local, home, everyday driving job, apply with Carter Lumber today. They have positions for Class A and Class B local drivers. They can take experienced drivers, students, and non-CDL drivers. With over 160 locations, chances are they have a position for you. So go to carterlumber.com/TalkCDL and apply today. Again, that's carterlumber.com/TalkCDL. Thank you. Hey drivers, are you sick of watching the other drivers bypass the weigh station while you are held up going through yourself? Well, download Drivewyze today at www.drivewyze.com. That's DRIVEWYZE.com, and start bypassing the scales yourself. If you're a small carrier, an owner-operator, or even a big fleet looking for something better, check out Drivewyze today. And remember, there's no equipment, no transponders needed when you're using Drivewyze. Check them out for a free download at www.drivewyze.com. So California's at it again.
What are they doing?
What aren't they doing? Now they just raised awareness. You know how by I think it's 2035 they want zero emissions and all this insanity out there in California. They're going to start it to where manufacturers can't sell gas powered, or diesel powered engines after.
They want everything electric.
Right. But they want so much by so much, blah, blah, blah. But nobody ever took in consideration the railroads. Talk about, emissions nightmare. And, they have electric trains like Amtrak, but I think they said 70%. Let me see here. It says, California Air Resources Board is successful in securing approval from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. California's in-use locomotive regulation adopted by the state last year would require all locomotives manufactured after 2035 that travel through the state of California to be zero emission, effectively banning the operation in California of locomotives that were more than 23 years old based on the original manufacturer date, the railroads asserted. So once 2035 comes, everything manufactured will have to be totally zero, but everything, that was manufactured 23 years prior and up will also be banned, it looks like. It says...
it sounds like.
Right. It says because close to 70% of the Class 1 locomotive fleet moves in and out of California in any given year, the rule dramatically increases the cost of providing rail transportation and most likely shifts a lot of freight onto the highway, said Ian Jeffries. It says it says that makes our customers pay more, consumers pay more, and it adds stress to the public infrastructure by pushing more trucks onto the highway. So it'll increase freight in California. But the problem with it all is if they're demanding everything go electric, right? They're saying all big rigs are going to be having to be electric, all cars. I'm trying to figure out how jetliners are going to fly into California.
That's a good point. They're already in the atmosphere giving off, fumes. Oh, yeah. Airplane fuel.
Yeah.
So they're going to already be doing that in their atmosphere, not...
I don't see anybody wanting to get on an electric jet.
I don't think anybody wants to do that, no.
Right. So it's like, okay, and jets give off insane emissions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All I know is Virginia, just this past week, they were going to be going along with California's rules, and they just decided, they said, you know what, we're not going to have California dictate to us what our people can buy. So, so Virginia's saying, look, because they were one that was going to try to adapt to what California, all the crap starts in California. It just does. All carbon emissions did. 2010, there was a carbon emission filter, certain things that were on big rigs. Trucks that are pre-2010, if they go out there, they get in a lot of trouble. It's just that California just adds more and more and more on, and it always costs everybody. In fact, they're the ones that have the $20 an hour wages going on right now at McDonald's out there in their state. I'm not picking on California. California picks on themselves. And now they're wanting to have railroads go insanely broke. And it's just going to raise more and more and more prices out there in California. And they're already under strain out there. I feel bad for Californians.
I do too. I mean, think about it. If someone has freight going to California, your general contractor has freight going to California, they're going to have to stop at the border, switch trailers with another company that has electric vehicles out there for them to finish the run. And, that's going to get costly in itself too. Think about it. You're now splitting the cost with another company on what? And that company will charge more. So,
well, here's the other thing. Right now, people are running from electric cars even, except for like Tesla. But all these other car manufacturers that are, making electric vehicles, we have friends that bought an electric vehicle in northern Florida. Okay, he had an electric pickup. Problem was he couldn't find places to charge it. If he was going on the road up there, I think it was a Hyundai or something like that, and there was no charging stations, for him to stop and travel. So he got rid of his. So my question is, semi-trucks that go electric, first off, they don't even have cars figured out yet. How are they going to take a semi-truck, which... if you fuel up, if you have 250-gallon tanks, okay, you probably get, what's the math on 250-gallon tanks? Which the range, that's the other thing, ranges can be deceptive. Because even though, let's say a car comes through the manufacturing plant that has a 300-mile range, how low do you normally take your gas tank?
You take it down to 20%?
Well, what's my rule?
You don't like to go under half.
Right. I think a lot of people don't like their gas tank to go below half. So even if you have an electric vehicle, right, you're going to go maybe 150 miles and you're going to want to charge it. Well, the problem with charging these things on the road and everything is it's a 20 to 30 minute charging if you're traveling. So what they're saying, electric vehicles, and this is what I was talking to some of the experts, what electric vehicles are really good for is around the house. Short range, just bopping around. If you're within a 100-mile radius of your house, electric vehicles are a very good thing to have because you just charge them at your house and you run. You don't have to pay for gas. Charging them at your house doesn't cost a whole lot. And you save money, okay? But when you start having to travel, That's where electric vehicles become a problem. And if you're going to make them OTR semi-trucks, okay, how long does it take to charge a full electric tractor trailer, I wonder?
That I don't know, but I do know that they were stating, we did an episode of a few weeks ago, and it was about how I don't remember what the year was it 2033 or 2035 or something like that, they wanted to have all the truck stops, like these, you had to have the charging stations there for them, but they were giving out the cost of how much it was going to take to build the generator systems for the fueling stations or the charging stations for them. And the comments that we're making is here they are, making everybody accommodate to that by having all these charging stations. So what was going to happen was the truck stops were going to make everything more expensive, and we were going to have to pay for it in other forms of taxes and everything else. We were end up paying to have that all on, and we don't want it all. So that was one of the big topics that we did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm looking here. Recover up to 70% of range in 30 minutes using Tesla's semi-chargers. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm looking for semi-truck Tesla charge time. I'm curious. I never even looked this up. But, at the bottom line...
Is it Pepsi that has them?
I think, yeah, Pepsi's running them.
Let's do this.
Look it up while we're doing this. And let's try to find out. See, charging islands don't seem reasonable. If this is the way we go, it needs to be able to fully charge from dead to 10 hours, then reach parking spot. So this is just somebody writing. Yeah, it's funny that I don't see it automatically available to the public like that. So try to find out, how long does it take? So my whole point is, you find something?
Yeah, Pepsi company uses Tesla mega chargers to charge their Tesla semi-electric trucks, which can charge from 5% to 95% in 20 to 30 minutes or 0 to 75 in 45 minutes. PepsiCo uses $750, yeah, right, 750 kW mega chargers at their facilities, which can charge the trucks to 80% capacity in less than 45 minutes.
And I'll be honest with you, that is not as bad as I thought it would be.
I had a feeling it wasn't as bad as you thought.
Yeah, for some reason I thought a semi-truck would take a couple hours to recharge. The big thing is, can they go a full 10 hours and run out a trucker's range? Okay. His driving hours. Can he run his hours out with these electric trucks?
Well, here's what that was what Pepsi did. Now Here's your normal running drivers.
Right.
The Tesla semis have been driving over 400 miles on a single charge with full loads and average speeds of 65 miles per hour. Tesla can do 70% charge in 60 minutes and 90% charge in 90 minutes. So it sounds like it's kind of like a minute per percent.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. So 90 minutes, 90%. Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So I guess that's still not that bad. But watch this. If you got 250-gallon tanks, right, on your semi, that's 300 gallons, right? 300 gallons, let's just say at 7 miles to the gallon, that's 2,100 miles you can go. You see the difference between charging, right? And how much does it cost to charge a semi truck each time? Can you pull that up? Because okay, so a guy right now, I guess I think fuel was like $3.50 the other day, right? So at $3.50 times 300 gallons, you're looking at $1,050 to fill up right now, okay? And at $4 a gallon, okay, you're looking at $1,200 to fill up right now. But then you can go roughly, if you're getting over 7 miles a gallon, you can go over 2,000 miles. So the question is, how much does it cost to charge it every, what'd you say, 400 miles they're doing right now?
Yes.
What does that cost?
Hold on, I don't know how much that costs, but I did get how much it costs for a 500-mile extended range version.
Oh, you mean the truck itself?
Yeah.
How much?
$180,000.
So $180,000 for an electric Tesla?
Yeah.
Well, that's the same cost as a diesel.
Yeah.
Okay. So
But that was in 2022. The starting price of the Tesla Semi was $150 for a 300-mile vehicle, $180 for 500.
But the extended range 500 is 180, so under 200,000, which is probably about the same cost as a regular diesel. But the question is, though, you're saying 500 miles, so that means the driver's going to go probably 400, 450 max before he has to charge. So you're talking every 400, 450 miles, now he's got to take 90 minutes. Okay, 450 miles. Are you with me, Ruthann?
Mm-hmm.
450 miles is not enough range for a trucker to go in his 10 hours. In your 10 hours, you want to be able to do at least upwards of 500 to 600 miles. Most truckers really want to get that 550 to 600 in so they can get their miles in for the week. But if you're saying that you got to recharge every 450, that's going to mess all your hours of service up. What do you got?
Okay, so this sounds really weird, and I might not even be at what we were wanting. Mm-hmm. So it says the cost to charge a Tesla Semi depends on the charging method used. National average grid price as of May 2024. The national average price for electricity at a public car charger is around 25 to 35 cents per kilowatt hour. At 1.7 kilowatt per mile, this would cost 51 cents per mile for fuel. It sounds like it's the charging stations, not DC fast charging. This method can be expensive, with chargers costing $100,000 each. And the Mega Charger in 2017 said they could generate a price of 7 cents per kilowatt for charging at the Mega Charger in the United States, according to the electric, which was 2 million and 1 million.
So, okay.
Or 200,000 and 1 million. So I'm looking for the actual.
Right. That's what I'm just. See, here's my thought. If it costs me $1,000 to $1,200, depending on the diesel rig, to go over 2,000 miles, okay, if that's what that cost is, now how much is? Because it sounds like I have to recharge 5 times. See what I'm saying? Like if you get the extended range and it's 500 miles, well, I'm not going to go 500 miles before I charge it. I'm going to have to go maximum 80%. I think that's what they said with these. That's the other thing my buddy was telling me the other day. He said, when you charge a Tesla, you're not, the recommendation is not to charge it 100%. It's supposed to be 80%. When we were looking at that Tesla in the mall the other day, and I looked at the charge range and it said 80%. So if it's 80% of 500, okay, times 5 is 400. So it would be 400. So basically, you're only going to get about 350 miles per charge on that if you're doing 80%. So let's just say for the heck of it, you're getting 400. That means in order to get the same distance as the diesel truck at 2,000 miles, if you got 400 per charge, you'd have to charge it 5 times. At 90 minutes times 5, that's 450 minutes. 450 minutes, 6 into 450 is about 7 extra hours. It'll take you literally 7 hours of charging. Am I wrong about that? It'll take you 7 hours extra for charging to get to the 2,000 miles. It's going to add 7 hours on the long haul trip. Am I wrong about that? Or did I just do stupid math? Let me look at that a second. So if at 90 minutes and you have to charge it every 400 miles, that would be times 5. That would be 450 minutes divided by 60. 7.5 hours you would add on to a 2,000 miles. So for every 2,000 miles a trucker has to run. So for every 3,000 miles a trucker has to run, you're looking at 10 hours just for charging. And that means they've got to stop every so many hours. So if you got 400, so that means a driver's going to have to run an 8. He's going to have to do like recaps all the time and hope he can get his 8 hours in. All right, just to be able to get to a charging station and then just sit at that charging station for 10 hours. But most likely, after 90 minutes, now he's got to wake back up, right? He could take a nap and then he's got to wake back up and then he's got to go park it. So most likely, he's not going to go to sleep. He's going to have to sit there for the 90 minutes, right, on top of his 8. So now he's really got 9.5, 10 hours, including his charge, right? But he's only getting 400 miles in there. So no matter how you shake a stick at it, every 400 miles a trucker's going to run, he's going to have 10 hours tied up there just about. That's going to include 90 minutes minimum of charging. That is insane, and it's going to cost everybody a lot more money, and the trucker's going to go broke unless he starts getting about $1 a mile. Crazy.
It does. I mean, because they're taking so much time.
I'm telling you.
I mean, they already got restricted on their hours of service now as it is.
Right.
So if you take out another 7 hours per
2,000 miles.
Exactly. That's they're going to literally spend one full day charging their vehicle. So if they run 7 days a week, 6 days of it is going to be just for charging their vehicle, and then the other day is going to be their quote 10 hours down that they have to mandate take.
Here, now listen to this. Now, you know how people sleep, right? Some dispatchers might say, well, why don't you sleep for that 90 minutes while your truck is charging? Well, I'm already going to need my 10 hours. Now, listen to this for a second.
Right.
So how hard is it, or how easy is it for you to go, okay, I'm going to plug in and take a 90-minute nap.
The power nap.
And now wake up and park my truck somewhere and continue to sleep. You can't do that.
Nope.
You'll screw up the guy's sleep so bad it'll be unbelievable.
Well, not only that, but here's the thing. Ask most humans. Now, you have very, very few humans in this world that can take a power nap and say, okay, I have 90 minutes. I'm going to go ahead, take a quick power nap, get up, and be completely refreshed and be on the same game that I was before I took my power nap. And moms can't hardly even do that.
Yeah, but even if they could, they wouldn't be legally allowed to do it. You see what I'm saying? They still have to take their nap, or they still need to take a 10.
Right.
So, and my guess is, while you're fueling, just like while you're fueling diesel, you probably aren't allowed to take a nap. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I mean, you're just plugging in. I mean, well, maybe you are allowed to take a nap, but the bottom line is that is going to mess everybody up so bad. But what's more alarming than anything, you got to do it every 400 miles.
Right.
If the truck even makes it 400 miles. They said it's 65, and is that on flat land? Because you know damn well with 80,000 pounds, you driving up north in the weather, up the mountain grades, there is no way you're getting the same fuel, the same distance out of that electric truck.
Well, just even you're stopping and you're going. We already know that it takes more fuel to kick that engine in to get it back up to speed. So when it comes to them going from stop sign or stop light or vice versa in and out of any kind of industrial area, that's going to take more electricity to operate than Absolutely. It would if you were going, like you said, straight down the interstate.
I seen a video the other day where a couple of rigs were coming up. I can't remember what mountain they were coming up, somewhere, where they're down in second and third gear, trying to get up the mountain. And this Tesla comes up the mountain, which it didn't say how much he had on in the trailer, but an electric vehicle definitely has more power. There's no doubt. But how much do you think he spent going up that mountain, putting his foot all the way to the floor?
Right.
It's like, okay, you just cost yourself 75 miles probably.
Right, exactly. And that's what and that's misleading, and that's what they do. Any kind of salesperson like that will mislead you into thinking that that's the best option. Yeah.
I think that the industry is banking on this so much, and it's going to cost them a lot of money, because even with just the technology they need and trying to get these batteries to go even longer range, imagine what the inflation is causing. You know what I mean? Because of the cost. It's insanity. But to me, the most alarming thing is I need to fuel my truck literally 5 times the amount. Not 5 times the amount of fuel, but 5 times the amount of stops I need to make for fueling for every 2,000 miles. I have to stop 5 times the fuel versus what a diesel truck can go in one shot. That is alarming to me. So,
I think that not only that, but there's a lot of people that say that these truck stops and so forth are going to be getting grants to help with building these things.
From the people.
Well, that's the thing, is so many of the United States people think that the money that they get from the government is free money.
Which is really the people's money.
It's not. It's not free money. All that COVID money was just, oh my gosh, our fuel is so high. Oh my gosh, the price of this just got higher. Yes, you're welcome. We're now paying for those COVID settlements that you received. There you go. It's not free. It's all coming at you from other ways. You just don't see it because they don't put, this is the cost of what it was for the COVID. We're just going to replace it now in this form so that you feel better about it.
The government is the people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not getting political, but people start needing to realize that your elected officials, all they are is representations of the people. When they start spending money, they're spending your money.
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly why that's why you're paying $50 for a Big Mac meal now, if you even go into McDonald's. But the bottom line is, this is the reason why, because your money was lent out to millions of people, and this is what's happening. But
We sat there and we had a wonderful dinner with some friend of ours the other day, and she made us delicious rotisserie chickens. She got the chickens and she made them. We had the conversation how at Sam's you can go in there and you can get a rotisserie chicken for $5, but you can't go and buy the chicken and the stuff to make that rotisserie chicken for $5.
Yeah, you can't make chickens today cheaper than you can buy them already made. Go figure that. That's a reversal. But
exactly, and that's the point of the inflation stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah. So the only thing that I would be curious about, because I couldn't find it, if somebody would write into us and tell us, how much does it cost every 400 miles to recharge my electric semi-truck? Are you looking for it one more time?
Yeah, I had it. Hold on. It was.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted to compare it to, the price of, how much is it going to cost an electric truck to go 2,000 miles? Is it going to be cheaper than diesel?
Well, here's the problem is they're saying that it is going to be cheaper, but the bottom line is, hold on, I got to find it again. It redid the thingy.
Go ahead. I'm listening. But while you're looking for that, you got it?
Well, they're not being 100% truthful, because what they're doing is they're getting the.
I can't believe that they're not being 100% truthful. But the bottom line with it is, I just wanted to see, and compare.
I'll read you how they worded it, and you'll see what I mean. The fuel cost to run a diesel semi for 1 million miles is $700,000. Running a Tesla semi for 1 million miles costs $200,000 at wholesale electricity rates of
When you say $200,000, you mean dollars?
Yes.
Okay, so going 1 million miles on a Tesla, the electric costs $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At wholesale electricity rates, or 1 million at retail rates. The difference in the cost of powering it is much greater than the purchase price of the semi. That was July 31st, 2023.
Okay, so you just said $200,000 at wholesale rates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you ran your diesel, your semi-electric truck for 1 million miles, if you were buying electricity at wholesale, right, and that's wholesale price today, by the way, you would be at $200,000. But if you bought your electric at retail rate, and what's the difference? So the retail rate is the charging stations out on the road? Where's the retail? Where are you buying retail versus wholesale? It doesn't say, does it?
No.
So it doesn't make sense. So that's all I was just wanting to see is the electric actually going to cost the same as diesel or not? Because my buddy told me the other day, he said, look, it's actually getting close. He said, you still can save on electric, but it's going up and up. And he said, the more people buy electric, the more it just keeps going up anyways. So it may go up to the point where if they still make a gas or a diesel vehicle, it'll be a lot cheaper to operate that.
No, here's the other one. It's $1.38 per mile to operate a diesel truck, according to the trucking information website, truckinfo.net. $70,000 of the $180,000 annual operating costs is fuel, and $15,000 goes towards maintenance. The Tesla By comparison, estimates its electric semi will cost $1.26. So what it's trying to say is the average fuel for diesel is $1.38, but electric will be $1.26. That's not what?
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at though, see, so it's $1.26 versus $1.38.
Mm-hmm.
But and see, this is what my buddy was explaining. He's an expert. This guy that I was talking to. He said, "Listen, so many years ago, it was unbelievable savings by having an electric vehicle." He said it's going up now to where someday it's going to really catch up to where it's really not any advantage to have an electric vehicle. It's just going to bring them into the emissions that they're looking to get you to. That's all that's going to be. So we'll see. Moving on. Man, that was a
hefty subject.
It was a hefty subject. And you know what? That really is it's a soft spot right now with all the regulations going on in trucking. It's just disgusting. So you are
Ruth Ann. Yes, I am.
That's me. That's me stuttering to get something going here. Listen, check this out. One last thing. Since we're talking about California in the beginning, and it went to electric vehicles. This week, a California trucking company tied to a fatal Highway 285 accident has a history of violations. This past week, a trucker with no CDL.
How could he be considered a trucker?
Well, okay, yeah, it's true. This guy driving a semi-truck had no CDL and wiped out with a flatbed and killed at least one guy. I'm going to read a little bit about it.
Yeah, please.
Now this happened in Conifer, Colorado, and it says a trucking company involved in Tuesday's fatal crash on Highway 285 has a history of violations over the past 2 years that raises questions about its safety and driver competency. It says investigators arrested semi-driver. It says semi-driver.
He has no CDL.
He was a driver and he was driving a semi. So he's not a trucker.
Right.
Even they didn't say he was trucker.
Exactly.
They said semi-truck driver. His name is Ignacia Cruz Mendoza. He's 47 and they arrested him on suspicion of vehicular homicide, vehicular assault, reckless driving, and not having a commercial driver's license. So it said Cruz Mendoza's semi went off the edge of Highway 285 just south of Conifer, this is in Colorado, on Tuesday, causing a load of heavy poles to crash onto the pickup truck of 64-year-old Scott Miller of Bailey, killing him. So it was kind of like a Final Destination moment for Mr. Miller, which is horrible. Pipes went flying at him and killed him. It says another driver was seriously hurt. 5 vehicles, in addition to the semi, were damaged in the crash. So now, it's coming from a company. You see, people hiring. I don't know if he was illegal or if he's whatever he is. Okay, bottom line is he's not a trucker because he doesn't have a CDL, like you said. It's interesting that a trucking company would actually hire somebody. They're so desperate to hire somebody to make money that they bring Joe Blow off the street that, say, yeah, I can drive a truck. And they just put him in the truck. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah. So,
I drove tractors on my farm.
Yeah. So now this company, not only is is the driver in a lot of trouble, but the company is in a world, and it reminds me of, do you remember Green Tree Logistics?
Yes.
Okay, we did a report on them. They were a company that was in Minnesota, Rosemount, near Rosemount. It was up there in Minnesota.
In that area, yeah.
Right. And they had hired a driver named Jack Satterfield. Interesting that we remember that guy's name.
Yes.
So I went ahead and looked it up. Jack Satterfield right now is doing like 25 to 50 years in prison or something. And they actually just reduced his prison sentence. And I was looking him up and I'm like, oh my gosh, why would they reduce this guy?
Yeah, I'm curious.
This is a guy that, let me set you the stage. This was the guy that stopped in New Jersey at a bar. He drank, it said, I think it was 5 margarita shots. Something like that. A couple of beers and something else. And then he drove, I guess, out 78 and down 81. And then when he was coming into York or Harrisburg area, there was stop traffic, and he ended up killing like 4 or 5 people, including a little baby, a little kid, and his dad. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then he gets out of the truck and runs across the interstate and stands there at a hotel. So the reason they reduced the sentence, they only knocked like 3 years off. It was like, it went from like 25 to 64 years to like, or I'm sorry, 28 to 64 years to like 25 to 54 years. So they knocked like 3 years off because when they tried the guy, they, I guess, accidentally sentenced him to a couple extra years because they had him down for leaving the scene of the accident 3 times, which, he only left it once. It was one accident. So they had to redo that part of it. But here's a trucker that's sitting in prison, okay, probably for almost the rest of his life, okay, because he went and got drunk. But the reason I wanted to name this company is because they had hired him, if you remember, with his CDL was suspended. Do you remember that? That's exactly what happened. His CDL was suspended when they hired him. So Green Tree ended up, obviously, they probably had a big lawsuit. They're no longer in existence anymore. You can't find them. Right. But you can look it up if anybody ever wants to look up Green Tree. Was it Green Tree Logistics, I think?
I think so.
Out of Minnesota. And Google the name Jack or Ed Satterfield. I think his real name was Ed, but I think he goes by Jack Satterfield, Satterfield. And he had... he's in prison now. I would imagine it's in Pennsylvania. It's where that happened. Go ahead. You got something?
I remember them saying that when they opened his tractor door, that there was beer cans in there. I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that he had like a 6-pack of beer cans inside.
Spilled all over.
Yeah, where he was drinking while he was still driving. And let me point at this. I mean, I know everybody might be saying, "Oh, it's nothing wrong with a beer or so." Yeah, that's true. At your home. Not in, and at this point, your tractor is not considered your home while you're driving it. That's separate. You mean to make that separation because at that point you're driving a killing machine, a gun. It's no different. You can kill with that just as easy as you can shoot someone. So you have to make that recognition.
And I would just think that the good truckers are in agreement with you, Ruth Ann.
I think so too.
And they're probably not saying a beer is okay.
No, I know. I mean, like you have those weird ones that will say, well, having a beer is not bad.
Well,
but that's not what we're talking about. That's why I was trying to make that clarification.
Yeah, there's no difference. Anyway, so the reason I bring up this company is because I'd like to put a message out there to you trucking companies that you're so desperate to get your freight moving and money is like on your mind. I would tell you, there's a good chance that they can prosecute you too. Now, I don't know if anybody was prosecuted there, okay, but your safety department or whoever does the hiring for each company, if you don't at least verify the guy as a CDL, then you deserve to lose your company and you deserve to go to jail with the trucker himself. Would you not agree?
Negligent hiring.
Negligent hiring. I mean, how insane is that? I mean, look, when you're checking out a driver, you have a duty to verify a couple things. Okay, see, DOT, and let me tell you what DOT requires. They require 10-year work history, but they only require the trucking company, now listen to this, to check out, and I believe it's make 3 attempts to check the driver's references. It doesn't say they actually have to get a hold of them. It doesn't say they can't hire them. But you see what the quagmire is the insurance company steps in and they go, you need to verify. So if a lot of trucking companies, they will not hire a driver if they can't verify at least the last 3 years of his life, what he's been doing. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead. You got something?
Well, they have to make sure that they follow direct DOT regulations by doing the drug and alcohol testing.
Correct.
While they were there. So that's the main purpose also.
Right. Well, I was going
verifying.
to, and you're right. Exactly. There's a couple things they got to verify. Employment history, like you just said, they got to check your clearinghouse. I was talking to a trucking company the other day, and they said they wanted to hire this driver, and they were checking him out. He looked okay, but he refused to accept the request in his clearinghouse. And then I guess a report finally came back where this guy had gotten an open container or something in a semi-truck while driving. So they confronted him about it, and he said, "Oh, I'm going down to the DMV. I don't know what's going on there. I better go check that out." Instead of just denying it altogether. So this guy was literally trying to hide something. So a trucking company is responsible to verify your clearinghouse, your motor vehicle record. I mean, that's the simple part. And also, a lot of them will check out your criminal history. Personally, they will. I mean, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. But honestly and truly, the minimum is at least knowing the guy has a CDL. Come on, people.
You got it. Listen, if you're going to hire a babysitter or a person that cuts your grass, you're going to at least make sure that your babysitter isn't a Michael Myers. Just saying.
Well, and I agree 100%. Make sure your driver has a CDL.
Simple.
Hello.
Hey, honestly, nowadays when you go to get a babysitting job, I only know this because I talk to other moms that have younger kids. A lot of times now they want to see that they did the CPR certification. There's things that are important to people, and a CDL while you're driving a tractor is really important.
Duh. It's actually a duh.
It is.
So if you're a trucking company out there and you're trying to cut costs by just and you're rolling the dice and you're trying to get a driver in your truck, and he's not really a trucker, and here's the other thing. Okay, maybe you do know he has a CDL, but you're just hiring him, okay, to hire him.
But you don't know the rest of his history?
Yeah, you're really playing Russian roulette there. But anyways, I would just give you guys the advice and start being a little bit more diligent on who you're hiring, because this guy here from over the weekend just cost I guarantee he just cost them their company. They will not stay in business. There's no way they're going to stay in business, because they're probably going to get prosecuted themselves. And that's why Green Tree also went out of business.
Exactly. Those smaller companies, they can't handle that, which I don't blame them. When you have that kind of conditions that happen to you, you cannot financially or your reputation it's going to get damaged too hard.
Here's something else to take in consideration. All right, most of those small companies, how do they check your MVR out? They usually send it to who? Their insurance company, and their insurance company will tell them yes or no, right?
A lot of times anymore, yeah.
Okay, so obviously they didn't send this guy's name to their insurance company, did they? So guess what's not covered?
Ooh.
That entire gigantic lawsuit coming, there's no way that company's staying in business. They are screwed. Screwed.
Oh, yikes.
Yes. Moving on. You got the word of the day?
I have one.
What you got? The word. By Word Genius. By the way, we like to tell everybody Word Genius is not a sponsor of the show. We just promote them all the time because it makes myself and Ruth Ann a little bit smarter. Every single day. We get the word of the day.
I know, I'm getting smarter.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me.
Evanesce.
Do it again.
Evanesce.
Evanesce. It almost sounds like that group, Evanescence.
Well, when I picked this word, I did think of that.
Did you? So what does evanesce mean?
To pass out of sight, memory, or existence.
Say that again?
To pass out of sight, memory, or existence. Let me give you the word.
Almost like being blotted out. You didn't even exist.
Well, it's kind of like
evanescence.
It's kind of like when you, like someone with dementia or Alzheimer's, their memory is going. So that specific, like a specific memory that you used to have, you don't have it anymore. It's evanesce.
Evanesce or evanescence? Did you what?
Evanesce.
Evanesce.
Right.
I'm adding. Okay.
Yes, you were adding.
Wow.
But evanesce means to basically forget something, or it passes out of your sight, like a sunset passes out of your sight. It's gone.
Oh,
A rainbow.
that's it. That's an interesting way to term that. I like that. Okay, Ruth Ann, we are out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.